Hello there, welcome back to Who's Views on what has turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous sunny day. Look, I'm in my t-shirt. Hello Who viewers, it's good to see you. It's Sunday the 30th of March 2025. It's 6 o'clock in the UK, so therefore it's live at 6 with me, JT, here at Who's Views. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for being with me. Come into the chat, everybody. Come and have a chat for this next hour, because indeed this is your warm-up show for your big Sunday show tonight at 8. It's headlines, of course, coming up for you very, very shortly. Well, first of all, I want to say that it's Mother's Day here in the UK today. So happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you mums out there, especially mine who's watching. So happy Mother's Day. We had a lovely day today. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Good to see you. How are you, everybody? I hope you've all had some sun in your part of the UK today, because it's been absolutely gorgeous today. I'm very impressed. Really am. It's time for Crackerjack, says Rick Storm. Now, how good is it? Crackerjack, for those of you outside the UK, was a big show that generations of kids grew up with as part of children's BBC television. And it was on every Friday. It was 5 to 5. It was Crackerjack. And the running gag with that is every time somebody said Crackerjack, the audience had to shout Crackerjack back. So a whole load of us grew up with this. Brilliant show. Lots of sketches, some music, lots of fun for a Friday to get you out of the school mode and into the weekend mode. And they're bringing it back after some 20 years off the air. And you know what, Rick? How are they going to do it in these very woke, extreme left-wing times where you can't have a laugh? How are they going to do it? Who are they going to get to host it? Probably be full of DEI, knowing the BBC. So I don't know if I'm supporting it or not, but yeah, Julianne's getting another joke as well. Crackerjack, yeah. I don't think it'll be the same, but do you know what? I might watch one. I might watch one to actually see if it has. Hello, Adrian. Adrian James is saying to me, have the clocks gone forward now? They have here in the UK. We are officially on British summertime, everybody, and I'm so excited about it because it was a really rough winter, wasn't it? Kirsty's in the chat with me, wasn't it, Kirst? Yes, it was. Oh, it's good to see you. And yes, there's Martin saying happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank you, Martin. Yeah. So hopefully you've been treated by your offspring, everybody, all the mums out there, because you deserve it. You absolutely do. Great to see you all. Thanks for joining me for Live at 6. Few things I want to talk about in the show. Oh no, Paul Stanford, what are you saying to me here? It's so nice here. I've got my budgie smugglers out, but at my age, no one wants to see that. Yes, please don't send in any photographs. No. Oh dear. Those things sometimes are criminal, aren't they? Oh dear. Hi Andy, how are you? That's made me laugh, Paul. Well done. And Care Avon, hi mate, how are you? Only 2 weeks before Doctor Who returns, you are right, but will it end up a nightmare of spring and summer 2025? Well, we'll be letting you know, of course, because we're going to be reviewing each of the 8 episodes, and I can tell you that next week we're going to be letting you know our plans for the new series. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, make sure you come and see us, because we're going to be telling you about what we intend to do, and hopefully you'll all join us and help get us through 8 weeks of the thing. Interesting. Oh, and here's one with Plymouth Who. Hi, Plymouth Who. I seen one of the new trailers. Shooty is crying again. Shock, horror. He's the only actor in Britain that comes with his own hosepipe ban. Yeah, it's from the first episode as well, I believe. That he's going to be whinging again. Whinge. That's all he ever does, isn't it? Terrible the way that they've done that to the Doctor, isn't it? You know, absolutely shocking how they've just watered him down, no pun intended, but it really is. I just can't believe what they've done with it. But yeah, we're going to be doing a new thing as part of our new series called The Crying Game, which was Paul's idea. He wants to count how many times in each episode Shooty cries. So we're going to be putting that in, but again, we'll come to that. We'll tell you more about that next week, because you can all play that one. Hello, Nothing. How are you? Lovely to see you. Eddie's there as well. Eddie, nice to see you. Great. Oh, look at this. It's lovely, this. I love coming to chat with you, because there are a couple of things I want to talk about, if you'll bear with me. Yeah, and basically, I want to start with a great big yaboo, basically, to the University of Sussex. The University of Sussex, who, like many of British universities and colleges, and also, of course, in the States and Canada and stuff, have all fallen into this ideological DEI nightmare of believing what the TQ cult preach. Now, the University of Sussex, a wee while ago, well, they had a professor working for them called Professor Kathleen Stock. Now, you may not have heard of her, but Google her and look her up because she's brilliant. And she was a professor at the university, and she produced a couple of books. And she also is, like many of us here, she is opposed to self-ID. She believes in only the two genders. And she has actually said in the past that self-ID threatens to secure an understanding of the concept of lesbian. Here, because it does. It absolutely does. However, when this book that she wrote came out, which actually, it was, I can't remember the title now. It was, it's done very well for her, by the way, Who Views. It's done very well for her now. But it basically said, is the concept of more than two genders real or imaginary? You can imagine the conclusions that you come up with, because it is imaginary. It's as simple as that. Well, of course, some of the students, the alleged activists, they're not activists, loons, but some of these alleged activists on campus started screaming at her, and they made things extremely hostile for her. And then the university sided with the college students, university students. And some of her colleagues wouldn't even acknowledge her or talk to her, and, basically turning their backs on her. So she felt very isolated, unsupported. She was getting threats, all the usual stuff that we know that these women get when they talk truth. So she ended up leaving the University of Sussex, and she then put in a lawsuit. And this week, according to GB News here, and many of the headlines here, the University of Sussex is facing a record £585,000 fine from England's higher education regulator, which is the OFS. They fined them over alleged failures to uphold free speech and academic freedom. The Office for Students found, quote, significant and serious breaches at the university. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? So this is a huge result for Professor Stock here. It really is for Kathleen Stock. It's amazing that she got that. Now, the University of Sussex is, can you believe this? They're challenging this. They're going to challenge this fine. How can you challenge a fantasy? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And you'll know I've spoken about these people before, but the Free Speech Union, of which I am a member, put this out on their website this week at freespeechunion.org. The headline was University of Sussex to challenge the £585,000 fine by regulator over transgender free speech case. Okay. And from their website, it says the Office for Students, OFS. Oh yeah, there we go. So the university's trans and non-binary equality policy statement had a, quote, chilling effect on students and staff. But the university has called the investigation Kafkaesque and does not believe the ruling is lawful. It then goes to a Sky News link, which says the University of Sussex has been fined a record by the higher education regulator for failing to uphold freedom of speech. The OFS, Office for Students, criticised the university's policy statement on transgender and non-binary equality. Non-binary, again, these idiots are forcing us to believe this mental ill health, saying that it could lead to self-censorship. The policy required staff and students to, quote, positively represent trans people, adding that, quote, transphobic propaganda would not be tolerated, end of quote. The university then accused the regulator of pursuing a, quote, politically motivated, end of quote, inquiry, and said it believes the findings were not lawful. It is seeking to challenge the ruling through a judicial review. Professor Sasha Roseneal, Vice-Chancellor at the university, told Sky News that the OFS investigation was quite a Kafkaesque experience. She claimed the fine would paralyse university leaders and cause havoc across the UK education sector. The OFS launched its investigation after campus protests calling for the dismissal of Professor Kathleen Stock. Professor Stock left the university in 2021 after being accused of transphobia when she published a book questioning whether gender identity was more socially significant than biological sex. And it's all gone from there, really. It's all gone from there. Can you believe what they're doing here? This is the world we're in, and I really don't recognize it at all. Women's rights, everything, gay rights, LGBT rights, it's all transphobic. It's just nonsense, isn't it? Let's see what you're saying to me in the chat here. Marine Boy 1966, hello to you. Nice to see you. What else we got? Shelley Ingle is with me. Hi there. Howdy, says Hugh James. Nice to see you. I just find this whole thing shocking. They're now going to challenge this, and yet this is a fact that they're going to challenge. Eddie, have you heard about the schoolgirls in America made to get changed into their PE kit in front of a trans pupil and teachers because they objected to a trans pupil being in their changing room? Yes, there's a similar story going on here right now where a group of nurses in the NHS refused to get changed with a TW in their changing room. So that's a big case that's going on now. So this inclusion nonsense has gone too far in my book. It really, really has. And every time you get something overturned, and a lot of these cases in Britain are happening now. A lot of these cases in Britain, they're being taken to court and what have you. And the courts are actually coming down firm on the fact that, no, there's two genders and that person there's telling the truth and you guys are living in an ideological world, a fantasy world. And they're getting thrown out of court, and it costing the taxpayer quite a lot of money. Rick Storm is saying, "I hope this challenge fails and the fine goes up." It would serve them right, wouldn't it? It would serve them right. And Paul Stanford saying to me, "All the usual nonsense from the woke playbook." It really is. But I just wanted to say from me, because she ever sees this, Kathleen Stock, congratulations, well done. And hopefully this challenge will fall down and get thrown out of court, because it's just nonsense to say that, isn't it? So the University of Sussex, and do you know what? All the other universities and colleges in the United Kingdom need to look at this now and say, are we doing the same thing? The majority of them, from what I can tell, are. Stop being led by the kids and teach the kids properly, because the kids are clueless, because they've been brainwashed for the last several years now on this nonsense. And it's not inclusive, because it's excluding women and it's excluding same-sex attractive people. So how is that inclusive? You're not being very DEI orientated, are you? Oh, nonsense. What else we got here as well? Hello, Carwin. Carwin is back with us here. Hello, good evening. I've missed a few shows after getting a new job. Well, congratulations. My hours are all over the place. There's a point where common sense get overridden by feelings. I'm of the great belief now, Carwin, that common sense as we knew it in Britain has gone down the toilet, because I don't see much of it around right now. I really don't. It's just when you do show a sign of a common sense, you're looked at strange, or you're treated strange, because it's getting rare. Does that make sense, Carwin? But I'm glad you got a new job. Congratulations. Rose Kirby, hello, how are you? Hello. Hope everybody's having a great and wonderful Sunday evening. It's great to hear your voice again. I am here just to say hello, folks. Well, it's lovely to see you, Rose, and thanks for tuning in. I hope you are well and you're keeping well, lovely. And it's nice to have you with us. Don't forget, the big show is on 8 o'clock tonight, so come back and listen to what we've got to say there as well. Lots of topics for you there, Rose. You're going to love it, I am sure. Julianne, the Sussex Uni clearly a brainwashing centre. Weird lefty cultists using soft-minded students to push their agendas. And yet the students are also, Julianne, driving the agendas. Because if it hadn't been for those alleged activists getting on their misinformed, bigoted bandwagon, and who'd have thought in universities? Universities are supposed to be the place where you go to actually have disagreements and to listen to other people's opinions, because that's what's supposed to form you into an adult. But you're getting all these people coming now who are absolutely not going to listen to any other point of view, and they're going to sit there and they're going to be staunch in their views, and that's it. They're going to stay there. So anybody else is going to be branded like these young people have done. That's what frightens me, because what happened to the whole thing about university and colleges? Free speech, and listen, to those of you outside the UK, free speech in the UK is dying, if not dead already. It depends which argument you're going to push there, because you can see this in our you can't see it on the platforms of the news, the approved news, but you can on the others, and you can see it on X. It's a very frightening place, I think, the United Kingdom right now. If you don't toe the line, if you don't bend the knee, if you have a different point of view, you are to be questioned. Hello, John. John's saying to me here, correct, common sense has disappeared with many. It really has. And I think that's frightening. Great to see you all in the chat, everybody. Thank you. Forbidden Man's with us. Hi, what's cooking? Lots of cooking, Forbidden Man. Welcome to Live at 6, your warm-up show. Hello, Frankie. How are you? Good to see you. Good evening to you as well. What else? Andy. No, you can't say I look ridiculous in those glasses. Go away. You've got no taste. These are very expensive. What would a heterosexual know anyway about taste? Don't start me, mister. What's this from Frankie? Why are unis so woke when so many Gen Z are more and more MAGA? Yeah, but this is Britain, and we're not here. We're not. So our universities are years behind. And we don't have Make America Great Again in Britain. We don't even have Make Britain Great Again. But we don't. So it's incomparable, Frankie. So it will be in America, of course, but I don't know. Possibly the centre or even some of the centre rights don't get in. Jason, hiya, Jason. Inclusion is such a creepy fake term. Being gay is exclusive, but being straight is exclusive. I would do anything to get my good old gay bars back. No alphabet bullies scaring people into submission. I know. The gay bars in this country are not allowed anymore. They're not to be tolerated. You cannot just have a gay man bar anymore. You're not allowed to call them that either. It's why they use the word queer, that homophobic term, more, because they feel it's more inclusive than saying you're gay or same-sex attracted. You're not allowed to say that because, of course, that excludes the T's, the TWs and the TMs, because they're not same-sex attracted, no matter what they might say. They're not. So anyway, that's what's happened to that. To that side of stuff. University was nothing like they are now 100 years ago when I was there. The world is on its head now. Juliana, totally agree with you. And it's frightening, isn't it, really? It really is frightening. I don't know what's happening to this country. It's certainly not the Britain I recognise anymore. And it's not for the better, in my opinion. I think it's going backwards rather than forwards. And I think a lot of it is down to these so-called alleged progressives. Hello, Robert. It's good to see you. Frankie's also saying we live in a country that's like old Soviet Russia. We're getting that way, unfortunately. We're queuing for bread and milk soon. And Eddie, common sense has been replaced with nonsense. Yep. Oh, here's Bill. Hiya, Bill. Under the last Tory government, we saw uni students becoming more political, which was a good thing. Recently, their politics have gone out the window in preference for fee wings. Do you know what? I have to say to you, though, Bill, it was the last Tory government that got us into this mess, because they could have crushed all this nonsense straight away, right at the very beginning. But no, they turned a blind eye and just wrote it off as nonsense, or wrote it off as, oh, it's a fad. It wasn't a fad. It was actually dangerous back at the time, and people were pointing it out. And of course, when did they come to act it? About 2 months before the general election, when nothing was going to go through. Absolutely disgraceful behaviour from them. All those years, 14 years of them in power, they really wound me up. They really wound me up. And Paul Rose, JT, just today I saw a Rogan clip of him talking to a college professor trying to convince him there are no such things as men and women. It's a social construct. Obviously, he wasn't buying it. Well, I'm sure he wasn't. And that's what they keep saying. It's a social construct. It's a social construct. Well, it's a reality if it's a social construct, and the majority of social that society adheres to it and agrees with it. So get on with it. Social construct, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolute nonsense. What else we got here? Where we got? That's why they're teaching these generation it's scary for the future, says Paul. Yeah. And we've got social media rise has killed the world. Well, I know what you mean. The more social media has taken part, the more people can have that voice, and some of it is malicious, isn't it? And some of it is intent. So we know that. We actually know about that. But the way that the world is dealing with it may not necessarily be the right way to go, I think. I don't know what you think about that one. Gay pubs are still alive in London. I don't mind getting a beer in them. Yes, I did say beer. Are they, though, Forbidden Man, or are they TQ, LGBTQIAA, BBC, ITV, Channel 4, any other bloody letter they want to add today? Are they? I've had friends asked to leave certain bars in London, which will remain nameless at this time, because they won't bend the knee to that flag. The same in Manchester. Andy, I have heard about this. Have you heard about Labour bringing these new criminal sentencing guidelines? Judges will have to take into account a person's sexuality or race, etc., i.e. they will give shorter sentences. Yes, it comes in this week here in the UK. It's absolute mockery of justice. We should, if anybody commits a crime, that should play no part in it at all, should it? And how they're getting away with this and putting this change in, I don't know. I think it's absolutely disgraceful. Two Onions, it's good to see you. Not seen you before in the chat. Hello. Gamette production is not socially constructed, says Two Onions. Thank you for your comment. And Rick, Rick Storm back with all speech should be free speech, regardless if it hurts your feelings. Otherwise, it's just communist censorship. Well, that's where I'm afraid I feel we're getting to. And it's frightening. It really is frightening. But anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest because I was so pleased when I saw that, and then I was just so shocked when I read that the University of Sussex were going to challenge it. How ridiculous! But to Professor Kathleen Stock, congratulations, and to the University of Sussex, serves you right, and I hope your appeal doesn't get heard or treated properly. I really do. Lots happening in the Doctor Who world, hasn't there, Who viewers this week? Lots and lots. Have you seen the fact that Ncuti Gatwa and Viradu Setu, now I'm probably saying that name, I'm going to have to go back and look at this again to learn how to say it. But they have been or are still in New York this week. You've got the obligatory photographs here at the Empire State Building. There they are there. Really don't like that outfit. I wish he put some trousers on. I can't stand it when people wear shorts with socks. Knock it off. It just looks ridiculous. What is that? What's going on? If you're going to wear shorts and sandals, don't wear socks. It just looks stupid. Either go without socks or put some nice lovely pumps or trainers on with some pop socks. There's my fashion advice for you for today, everybody. Have socks and shorts and sandals. No, no, no. That's what I'm saying. But there was that one there. This is all in the Empire State Building. Look at them grinning there like Cheshire Cats. This one was in the lift, obviously. Look at that. It's amazing how they managed to get the lift to themselves, isn't it? The Empire State Building is never quiet. There's always lots of people there. Loads of people around going, say, no, you can't do this. These people are famous. And then there's this one, of course, with the infamous grip of King Kong. And there they are acting. Oh, well, I'm glad they were having a lovely time. Aren't you? Glad they were having a lovely, lovely time over there. Yeah, here's Julianne. What is he wearing? Socks with shorts? Even my old dad never did that. Exactly. It looks terrible, doesn't it, Julianne? It looks absolutely awful. Andy Saints was here. The two statues have more life in them than Gatwa. Rose is going, hey, doesn't anyone's opinion count for anything anymore? Everyone has a right to think or be what they want to be. That's my opinion. Yeah, as long as they're not harming everybody else. I would agree with you, Rose, but we've got a whole load of people here now that are harming women's rights and LGBT rights, which we fought hard for. Women fought extremely hard, didn't they, for their rights over the decades? So did we as same-sex attracted people. And now we've got a whole bunch of very misinformed, badly educated brats coming in with all these ridiculous phases like, oh, I'm non-binary and I'm this and I'm that, squashing our rights, rewriting same-sex history, no, that needs to be looked at, and that needs to be addressed and corrected. And Bill Lowry is saying, I think it's pronounced Veranda Seti. Is it? I'll go back and watch the thing because they were on American television, weren't they, this week? They really, really are. And it was this one. It was Good Morning America. There they are there in what was a pre-recorded interview. Have you noticed how nowadays they have to be color coordinated? What's that about? It just looks so bland and unexciting because they even sort of merge into the background on that set, you know? And I just thought, ugh, trying to coordinate them. But have you seen the video for this, everybody? This interview, it's not on for long. It's on for about 2 minutes, 39 seconds I've written here. You can see it on the Good Morning American Tube of Who site, which is what I did. And in it, they were going on about how it's the best energy, quote unquote, between these two, and that Verada brings some great energy to the show. Ncuti was saying how Belinda, the character she's playing, challenges the Doctor. And then they went on to, well, Ncuti went on to say how lifelong fans will love this season. Is he deluded? You told the lifelong fans, as did your predecessors, Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall, to go and touch grass. So what did they do? They went off and touched grass. They've gone. Lifelong fans are no longer interested in this show. So I don't know what he's going to see. So they're hinting that there's going to be another old enemy there. Could Paul on headlines be right here on this very channel? Could it be the Black Guardian under a new name? That one that we saw on the T-shirts and stuff. The Guardian of Chaos. Could he be right? You'd be delighted if he is. I tell you. We won't hear the last of it. But yeah. Apparently, they're hinting that there's another big bad coming back into it. It's. I'm so excited by it, aren't you? It's bland. It's all bland, just like the current Doctor Who. I know, Andy. Yeah. And Frankie's telling me GMA is an ABC, a Disney-owned company. Of course it is. I did sort of know that, but I thought, oh, it's just typical, isn't it? They're going to be pushing Doctor Who again. But are they pushing it as much as they did last year over there? I don't see any of these things in Times Square or any evidence of a real big push over there. So if you're over there, let me know. Frankie, are they? Have you seen it now? Julianne, I went out of my way to make sure I didn't watch it. And Paul Rose, sorry, but just seeing a picture of Shooty winds me up and makes me cringe. You're not the only one. You're not the only one, though. There's an awful lot of people that say the same thing to me. Oh, I can't watch it with him. It just winds me up. Frankie again is saying to his lifelong fans are gone. Julianne, this lifelong fan is now a lawn expert. And Robert Payne, that clip shown on the chat show was all over the top. I love the dressing up part, running around the TARDIS ramps. Carwin is saying to us, challenged him with how long can you go without crying? And Paul Stensford, I can't believe that they're still trying to promote this show. I think that fewer people are going to see the next season of Who than the recent Snow White movie, and that's saying something. Yeah, because that's about 5 people, isn't it? It's a massive flop, that Snow White film. Why did they bother? I was saying this to some friends on Friday night. Why did they bother? Because they knew it was going to be a flop the moment that she opened her big gob. These people in show business really need to hire people who can tell them, we'll do your social media, you keep your mouth shut. Like they used to do in the old days, the golden age of Hollywood, where everything was controlled to an extent for them. And they just turned up and smiled and they weren't allowed to say anything. It's gone too far now, isn't it? Because as I keep saying, you're going to alienate 50% or more of your audience, and that's going to harm the project you're in, like with Snow White, because no one was going to go and see it because this stupid woman that's in it. Kicking off every 2 minutes. Oh, unbelievable. Yeah. Boring if it is, says Kirst, and that'll be with the whole Black Guardian thing, I would imagine. Yeah, if the Guardian comes back, the Black Guardian, or as they would probably call him, the Guardian of Chaos now. Oh, yes, exactly, Craig Dunlop. I'm not sure if I can read that out. Isn't that right? But yes, you're right. What we got here as well, the Black Guardian returns, great at last, some originality, sarcasm, says Bill Lowry, and Shooty needs to make up his mind about the fans, says Eddie. Yeah. They're all in denial, aren't they? 1 minute you want it, and the next minute you're not. Then you are. It's complete denial for them. They really are. Hi ho, it's off to touch grass we go, says Rick Storm, in the next couple of weeks. But I do agree. I do think that there's going to be less viewers for this series. But we'll see, won't we, in our ratings game, and when we start looking at the episodes. Big chats coming up for us on this channel, I think. Paul Rose, JT, see the Doctor Who TV report. Doctor Who has never been less popular. Absolutely no chance of season 2 changing that. Yes, now that's the YouGov report. We are going to be looking at that in headlines. 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to be looking at that. That's one of the big stories for us this week. So we're going to be getting into that. And I can't wait to see what the guys have to say about that one, as well as you guys, of course. So come back on 8 o'clock and join us for that. Carwin is saying to me, classy stars are dead. They all want to tell their political opinion and why we are all wrong and should be like them. Yes, exactly. It's and isn't it ridiculous? Because I look at some of these people, I don't want to be anything like you because I've got common sense. I've got an amount of intelligence. These people preaching and hypocritical preaching at that wouldn't be able to work in a supermarket. They wouldn't be able to stack a shelf. Honestly, I've known a lot of actors in my time, and some of them were thick as mints. Couldn't find the way out of a supermarket. Yeah. Anyway, I'd rather touch AstroTurf, says Paul Rose. I must love Who's Views. That's the only reason I'm going to try and watch season 2. Well, we love you too, Paul Rose. And if you can get through season 2 with us, you'll have to let us know every week. Hi, Graham. Even though just turned on, I forgot there was a sixth show tonight. How dare you? I was watching the documentary on the Savages. It was a decent watch, to be fair. Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Have you noticed how the BBC studios on the social media have started to put exclusive clips from the cartoon of the Savages, or the animation? Sorry, have you noticed how they've done that over the last couple of days? And all I can think of, being skeptical, is it can't be selling that well. So they're showing bits of it on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook channel. Ooh, what am I like? What am I like? Actors really need to understand the entertainment industry is a popularity concept, says Julianne. And Shelley Ingle, I highly doubt that the Black Guardian would return. I'm with you, Shelley. Paul's convinced it's going to be something there, but there are a couple of things actually that he could be right on. The fact that Ncuti has now indicated lifelong fans will love this season because he's hinting there's an old villain coming back, or what's the other thing that we're saying about it? The end of the story, the end of the series is called The Reality War. The Reality War. Kirsty was actually sending me some information earlier, weren't you, Kirst? That apparently the BBC have been showing Doctor Who in various other shows. Isn't that right, Kirsty? Now, I know you said EastEnders. What was the other one you said? I'll get your message for me. So it's been playing on television sets in other shows, Doctor Who. I can't get your message up. Hang on, it's taking its time. Here we go. Kirsty, there you are. Come on. Here we go. They've been showing it in The Apprentice, EastEnders, and Gladiators. Okay, I didn't know Gladiators were back on that. Please, Phil. So I think that ties in with the episode itself. If these people are watching Doctor Who in the background, I think that's going to be something to do with the reality war. Is it too much to hope that he's in a different universe and that it's going to kick it all off as a spectacular ending for a new production team? It is, isn't it? Yeah, but do you know what I mean? If these fictional characters are watching the Doctor's adventures in these things, or an Apprentice, which is reality, isn't it? Or if it's in Gladiators or something. I haven't seen them because I don't watch the BBC, but there we go. It would be interesting to see what they're doing. Yeah, what else? IPTA, only a fortnight to go. I hope Uncle Sydney has oiled that workometer. Yes, I've let him out the cupboard and he's working on it. So it'll all be oiled up and ready to go when we get to the new series. I can assure you, PTA. Do you think, asked Carwin, that the season may have an overnight rating lower than 2 million? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I think it's going to be there. I think I will win a pencil this time around. I do. Kirsty's not getting them all this time around, everybody. No, I think I'm going to be... I think I'm going to get one. Frankie is saying to us that The Guardian will be back as a trans drag queen. Wouldn't surprise me. And hi, Stephen. Stephen Braddock's with us, everybody. Hi, JT. Just got home from work. I had an art print of Gatwa as the Doctor, which I got before I saw his performance. It's now in the bin, like his show. Oh, I waste some money. What a shame. What a shame. It is a terrible performance, though, isn't it? And yes, part of that reason is for the scripts and the way he's been told to do it. But really, I've recently got into Classic Who, says Nothing, and started watching on BBC iPlayer. It's brilliant. Well, of course it is. Yeah. Glad you found it. Glad you found Proper Who, as I call it. Because it is brilliant, isn't it? And it's very engaging because the story's there, isn't it? Nothing. You can get into the story and you can carry on with it and you can just have fun with it. And it takes you from A to B to C to D over 4, possibly 6 episodes. In our day, of course, Nothing, we got to watch that 25 minutes every week. So imagine that. It wasn't back to back. It was every week for 24, 26 weeks. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful days. Magical days. Never to be seen again, actually. The documentary on the Savages is getting a lot of positive reviews, says Bill. Well, something has to, because the animation isn't, is it? And Paul Rose is saying they used to give actors media training and try not to say anything against the possible audience. Their personal politics or agendas should not come out, and it has ruined many actors for me recently. The same as me, Paul, and you're right, they did. What happened to that training? I wonder if they got rid of it for unconscious bias training or something like that in the industry. But you're right, they do need to bring it back, don't they? Because they haven't a clue what to do. Marjorie, hiya, how are you, lovely? Happy Sunday to you. Nice to see you. And I wonder if the BBC will be offering counselling for those who watch the next season of Doctor Who, says Paul Stenterford. Yeah, that ties in with the story we talked about in the headlines last week, of course, doesn't it, everybody? Where the BBC were offering LGBTQIA plus staff members counselling because Trump's got in America. You can't make this stuff up. The world is crazy, I tell you. Oh, it doesn't go against my viewpoint. Graham's asking me, did you see Daryl's latest YouTube post? Puts the Savages animation. I did indeed. As you know, I'm a huge fan of Daryl Joyce's, and I have seen all his work. He's getting better and better every day, isn't he? With all this animation stuff. I'd love to see an animation with Daryl. Now that I would watch. It'd be a lot of work for him, I'm sure, but I would watch that. And there's Kirsty confirming, yes, it's EastEnders, Apprentice and Gladiators. Thanks, Kirsty. Interesting thing there, though. Nothing is saying I think it's going to be the Daleks coming. Possibly. I don't know, though. They are problematic, as I've said before. Marjorie's saying to us, the reality is this season's 2's ratings will be in the toilet. And Eddie is saying, quite rightly, just because one old enemy returns, it doesn't mean the series is going to be any good. Well, look at the Sutek thing last year. What was the point in that? It seems to me they're doing the same pattern again, you know, build it, build it, build it, build it. We're going to be talking more about that, of course, in Headlines at 8 o'clock, your big show for Sunday. Craig, you're funny. The Black Guardian will not now have a dead crow on his head because BJ Harvey nicked it years ago. I have to say, when I saw that picture, I did think of Valentine Dial as well. That is a long time ago, though, isn't it? Crikey. Thank you for making me feel quite old, Craig. John Roberts, we don't care about Series 2 shooting and RTD. I'm very green-fingered these days. What? Oh, from the cutting grass. Of course you are. I think we all are. And now the weather's getting better in here in the UK. It's a better time for us all to go and touch some grass, isn't it? I think. Let's get out there and get the weeds up. And I like this from Paul Rose. JT, you should rename scores on the TARDIS doors to snores from the latest Bores. That could be a sequel, couldn't it? Terrified Monk, hello, it's good to see you. I'm excited for season 2 for the right reasons. I don't know, only time will tell. Well, I'm glad you are, because there are millions of us that don't care. The only reason we're doing it is to review it, because it calls itself Doctor Who. If this channel wasn't operating, I wouldn't be bothering with it again, because I didn't bother with it in the Chibnall years, and I wouldn't be bothering after the nonsense I saw last year. But it's fun to come and talk with everybody about it. I discovered last year. It was heavy work getting through those 8 episodes last year. I'm sure it's going to be just as heavy this year. But Terrified Book, please make sure you're coming to see us every week to tell us what you think. I'm really interested in yourself and a couple of other Who viewers we've got that are really looking forward to this new series. And I want to know what you think every episode, okay? So make sure you come to join us with your viewpoint. It's very important. I want to know. So promise me you'll come and tell us when we start the reviews of the shows. Please, please, please. Thank you very much. What else we got here? The Core of Sci-Fi Fantasy. Hello to you. Nice to see you. The only thing I'm looking forward to on April the 12th is Vinyl Day. Yes, and the release of the 10th Planet. I'll tune into you guys for the review of Dr. Rogue. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the Vinyl Day as well. And the 10th Planet vinyl for Record Store Day here on that day in the UK. It's going to be great. So yes, I'm going to be going off and hopefully getting my 10th Planet vinyl as well, because doesn't it look lovely? And Van Zan, evening. I hope you've all had a decent weekend. Well, that's very nice of you, mate. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so that's where we're up to with them. They are over there doing that. Oh, good luck to them, I think. But is it going to make any difference over there, Who viewers, what they're talking about in America? I don't think so, to be quite honest. Is it going to improve the viewing figures for Disney? And I know we've got a certain section of fan base saying, hey, it was in the top 10 for Disney or the top 5 or wherever it is. Yeah, maybe for the initial screening and then back out again. I don't know. I'm not too sold on that. I want to say thank you to everybody for getting in touch with us over our shows in March, which actually marked the 20th anniversary of the return of Doctor Who with Christopher Eccleston in 2005. We had a great time doing them. We did 4 shows over the month. I think my favourite has to be the one where we discussed the highs and lows of Doctor Who. And then we asked, is it time to call it a day? Because that was just so surprising. Because not only were the panel on the show and you guys in the chat saying, yes, it's time to call it a day in overwhelming numbers, but also the fact that it did turn into more of a lows of the 20 years. And I thought that was quite interesting because it wasn't planned. You know, in my head, I originally thought, oh, there's going to be a balance here. But there wasn't. We went into talking about this happening and this happening. It was, and so that was my favorite one of the show. So thank you very much, everybody, for your comments and your support and watching those shows. We finished that with a review of Rose just this week. So that's 20 years of Reboot Who. What surprised me this week was this. Doctor Who's Russell T Davies heaps praise on genius Christopher Eccleston. The beloved sci-fi show recently celebrated the 20th anniversary of its modern reboot, according to the RadioTimes.com. It goes on to say, after his departure, there were reports of bad blood between Eccleston and the BBC, which we know is true. And indeed, the star later explained how his relationship with his immediate superiors, including RTD, broke down irreparably during the first block of filming. But despite that, RTD, who has returned for a second stint as the showrunner in 2023, heaped praise on Eccleston during a recent interview with Doctor Who magazine to mark the 20th anniversary, I'm going to add that, of the reboot. RTD said, I mean, the man is a master, he said. You get to work with a genius, someone who's still at the top of his game all these years later. That's what we were lucky to get. And then producer Julie Gardner added that prior to his casting, tabloids have been running stories suggesting that magician Paul Daniels might be the new Doctor, but that Eccleston helped change the public's perception of the show. It's something that we always talk about here, you know, Ian and Paul and myself, we're always talking about before Doctor Who came back in 2005. You did get people like the magician Paul Daniels here in the UK, or Doddy, or somebody like that, somebody that was comic going to be the new Doctor Who. And when Eccleston came back, it did have a mark. We do know, however, that they've fallen out. Eccleston has famously said a couple of times now, hasn't he? Get rid of them and I'll come back. So to heap praise on him, on Eccleston, I think it's lovely to do. I can't see it making any impact, though. Can you? I can't see it making any impact at all when it comes to Eccleston. Not at all. What we got in the chat, Terrified Monk saying to me, don't worry, it will be trash. It's like watching a train wreck or a car crash. Oh, but still let me know what you're thinking about it. Sam, hiya, Sam. I'm not watching it. I didn't see the Christmas Day episode. You didn't miss much. Honestly, it was awful. It was so boring. I will just watch Who's Views to see how bad each episode was. Good for you. That's what I like to see, Sam. And you can comment in it as well. You didn't miss much for Christmas at all. Robert Payne is saying April the 12th is only 8 days after his birthday. Well, there you are. There you are. Let us know nearer the time. We'll give you a shout out. What else have we got here? Marine Boy 1966. Will the big villain be the Sea Devils or Silurians in an effort to make the Fable viewer interested in that spin-off stinker to be? I'd completely forgotten about that over the last couple of days. Marine Boy. Will there be an Ice Warrior singing It's Not Easy Being Green, says Paul Rose. Stop giving them ideas, because that could be sorted, couldn't it, with this production team? Yeah, I did as well. Terrified Monk, forgot about the spin-off. Goodness knows when that's going to be. Lots of speculation, isn't there, Who Views, about how the ending of this next series can lead into the spin-off. So we'll have to hear about that. At some point, they're going to have to tell us, aren't they? But what do you think about this Eccleston thing? Bill's telling me, yeah, it's two-faced, it's hypocritical. Frankie, Eccleston hates RTD. RTD is a nut job, allegedly. Paul Rose, thanks for sharing this, because now I have too. I've just had the mental image of Shooty singing Holding Out for a Hero. Please no. Well, thanks for sharing that. I hope you all know have it, because if he's got it and I've got it, you've got to have it as well. Robert Payne saying nobody should tell someone like RTD is a genius. And David B, hello mate, how are you? Does anybody know if Eccleston was always going to do one series, or could there have been more if it were not for the falling out? The falling out, I think, from what I remember, was quite early on, so there was no way he was going to do a second. I'm sure had the falling out not happened, I'm sure he would have done. There would have had to be a few changes to some of the scripts, because I can't see the Eccleston Doctor working in something like School Reunion, personally. But yeah, I don't think he was. I think it was so early on that he said, right, that's it. It's one season. He was only contracted for one because he didn't know they were going again for a second. Steve Meyer is saying to us, we need more Shooty. Not no shorts, surely. And Mark Milford, you're right, JT. Today, common sense is hard to attain. It's fleeting from our daily view. But if we hold firm and try to explain, thank God I found it on Who's Views. Oh, well, that's very nice of you, Mark. Thank you so much. We do our best here. Yes, we do our best indeed. But common sense, honestly, we have to keep hold of it, don't we? We really do. Eccleston was fantastic, says Stephen Braddock. RTG being kind to someone who deserves it. Shock, horror. Oh, yeah. And Carmen saying to us, no, I think Chris has gone through too much and blames them for so much black in his life. Praising him now is just trying to save face. Now Chris is not scared to speak out. I'm hearing rumours he's doing another book. So I wonder if that will. Now, I keep saying when the series comes off air, as it inevitably will, I don't care what anybody says, at some point it will have to come off air. Everything does. And as we know from the Wilderness years, all sorts of tales come out and all sorts of truths come out because people are relaxed because they're not tied to anything because it's not there. It's not in production. So there's no chance of them getting a gig. So they say sort of anything that goes. And Terrified Monk is saying Eccleston should cash in on Doctor Who. Yes, he absolutely should. And I think he started to now because he's back with Bog Fanish as well, isn't he, with Billy? I wonder if that will sell well. Isn't it limited edition as well? I don't get them. Stephen Meyer saying, I heard Shooty will be starring in a new Star Wars series. That wouldn't surprise me at all. God love the Star Wars fans, I say. Julianne, RTD, more faces than Big Ben. What a hypocrite. Nothing is saying, I think the spin-off is going to block the gap until season 3. There is no season 3 yet, love. There isn't a season 3. It's not been commissioned. Not yet. There's nothing in the book for this year to film something for next year. Although I do hear BBC Studios are very keen to keep it. So even if they can, if they film something later this year, it'll be for next year. If they film next year, it could be for the production schedules. Depends how they do it. I reckon they might come out with something like a 90-minute movie to bridge the gap between new and old. But it's all speculation in my head. Eccleston is a hard dude to please, says Stephen Meyer. He really is, but he's very he's very method, isn't he? Julianne is saying his book would be a bestseller. Yeah, if you made it about Doctor Who, absolutely. You might be biding his time. And yes, Adrian's saying R.I.P. Richard Chamberlain. Absolutely. I heard the news about that earlier today. Well, how sad is that? Richard Chamberlain's passed on, everybody. Always going to be famous for things like the Thornbirds, isn't he? For a certain generation. The women in my family were addicted to the Thornbirds in the 80s. I couldn't quite get hold of why. I remember watching them as a kid. I must have been about 10. I remember watching them, and my mum and my auntie and some of my other female relatives adored this thing. They were all addicted to it. And I was just, I don't know, it wasn't for me. I now know why. It's a chick flick, and I don't do chick flicks. But yes, R.I.P. to Richard Chamberlain, a real talent, actually, I think. Hi, Kevin. Kevin Taylor's with us now. The clocks are on summertime and the weather is now so warm. I dare say I will be cutting out New Who and cutting the lawn instead. Yes, I can hear lots of Doctor Who fans going to start with the grass. I can tell. I have to start mine soon as well, Kevin, so you will not be alone. It's going to be interesting how many people will be out there cutting grass on Saturday evenings. We still don't know the time that this thing's being, we know it's being dropped at 8 o'clock in the morning on the iPlayer, but we don't know yet the time that's going to be put out on BBC One. I'm going to suggest, I think they're going to put it on around about 20 to 6. I really do. I don't think it's going to get to the 7 o'clock slot because it's not big enough. I reckon they'll push it up the schedule to 5:40. What do you think? Well, see, Richard Chamberlain was in an episode of Hustle and was very good, said John tells me. Really? I didn't know that. That's interesting, isn't it? That's interesting. Listen, have you also seen the news about David Tennant? One of my favourite people, as you will know if you're a regular viewer to this channel. Another one that's gone up the TQ cult alley. They're so misinformed, these far left people, aren't they? And they're so intent on being correct. And we've spoken about Tennant many times before, but this week again, oh my God. This headline here from the Metro. David Tennant takes classy swipe at J.K. Rowling over the Harry Potter series. This is written by Emily Bashforth. We featured her on the channel before. So this is the ongoing situation, because it's not a row, but the situation between show business and J.K. Rowling, who currently at the moment is an executive producer on another Harry Potter series and could employ loads of them. So if that was the case and you're earning American money, you'd think a lot of them would shut up, but no, not at all. David Tennant has to continue. As it says here, Tennant has taken a cheeky swipe at J.K. Rowling after the acclaimed author ignited a feud with him on social media. Now, this is where they're coming from here. She didn't ignite any feud at all. He did. He started it all. So this alleged journalist for the woke show needs to get her act together and start looking at the big picture. Rowling never instigated any of this against her. Never. Never, never, never. It was the activist, the TQ activist that went after her. There's nothing they can do to her either. They can threaten her, or she gets, apparently she gets millions of death threats a week. Enough to pay for a house, apparently, over at Rowling Towers. But let's carry on with it anyway. The Doctor Who star put in an appearance at Planet Comic Con, Kansas City last weekend, meeting fans, signing autographs, and sitting on a panel to talk about his career. Should have been short. During the session, Tennant 53 was asked about the upcoming Harry Potter TV series, which has been greenlit by HBO and is set to premiere in 2027, 15 years after the franchise ended in film form with The Deathly Hallows Part 2. The host of the panel quizzed the Scottish star on whether he'd like to play any characters, with the casting process currently underway, and since Tennant played Bartimus Crouch Jr. in The Goblet of Fire. Tennant's response, however, was rather scathing, and he subtly alluded to his beef with writer Rowling 59, who is producing on the series. "I mean, they're great stories," Tennant began. "I feel like my contribution has probably been made." He continues, "I'm told there's an executive producer who doesn't love me on that show," he added, earning rapturous applause, cheers and laughter from the audience. "Just once, I would love to be in the audience here, and I'd have some things to say to him. Politely, I would be polite, don't get me wrong, but I'd have some really scathing questions for him. And if he said something like that, I wouldn't be clapping like a seal. Not a chance. I'd be booing and hissing." It carries on. Feigning bewilderment, Tennant shrugged as he repeated, "I was told recently." Of course, it didn't take long for footage of the moment to circulate online, which is how I got to see about it, with ex-user at Dizzy Pinwheel praising the star's classy response, of course. "Going on my way zero," laughed. He's so smooth about it. By clockwork, urged him to drag Rowling. You see, this is what we're dealing with now. These idiot people that have jumped on this bandwagon. You are idiots, the lot of you. You are clueless. You are misogynistic and homophobic. You're everything you say that the rest of us are. You are nasty, nasty, bigoted people. You really are. Trans women are not women. Trans men are not men. Simple as that. Get it into your furry little brains. Tennant's remarks referred to Rowling taking aim at him on X last year. Not true. The wording there, again, is ridiculous. After the Conservative Party chose Kemi Badenoch to be their new leader, Rowling was reminded of Tennant, saying he wished the politician would shut up during an acceptance speech for an LGBT. It wasn't an LGB, it was an LGBTQ plus ally award. The vocal supporter of trans rights, that's Tennant, made the dig at Badenoch after the MP for North West Essex supported her party's pledge to protect single-sex spaces in the Equality Act. What's wrong with that? "I don't wish ill of her. I just wish her to shut up," Tennant said at the ceremony in June, as if any of us are going to forget this, and we shouldn't allow him to. The new Tory leader then retorted, "I will not shut up. I will not be silenced by men who prioritise applause from Stonewall over the safety of women and girls. A rich lefty white male celebrity so blinded by ideology he can't see the optics of attacking the only black woman in government by calling publicly for my existence to end." So when Badenoch was made head of the Tories, Rowling saw an opportunity. She tweeted, "My thoughts and prayers are with David Tennant at this very difficult time." That's what we call humour. And it was funny. It was funny. Now, this alleged journalist and her ilk won't understand the concept of humour because it isn't allowed, is it? It's not allowed, but it's humorous. It's funny. Get a grip, love. Rowling made headlines several times in recent years due to her controversial views on trans rights, having engaged in social media activity on the subject since the 2010s. This is where the wording of this, they're not controversial views. It's a fact. All she's ever done is stood up for women's rights and LGBT same-sex rights as well. That's all she's ever done. That's it. But people like this author, who is, again, that one there, love to pull it out of context, don't they? So what the wording on that does for me, it makes Tennant out to be the good guy and Rowling out to be the bad guy, when it's actually the other way around. They are pathetic, these people, aren't they? They really are. And the way that they write it. But this is the Metro. It's one of our favourites here on Headlines. The Metro UK is a free rag in the UK, as I've said before. It's one of these things that tends to get left on the tube or on the bus. Nobody wants to take it home. It's not even worth putting your chips in, if we were allowed to do that anymore. It's awful. It's so far left. It's laughable, as you can tell from these things. There's more from the Metro coming up on Headlines today. Oh, you're gonna love it. It's my favourite. She's gonna be back on the show. later on. Can't wait to share that latest expose from her. Yes, there's a lot of you here as well. Forbidden Man saying J.K. Rowling has nothing to prove. It's Tennant who shut up. Problem being saying to me the moment Tennant's inner demon showed itself. Has Davis never let slip what he thinks of Tennant and his daughter? No, because he's very good and he keeps his private life private. Yeah. I think you can guess. You think you can guess? Frankie says was Tennant is now like he was talking over the asylum, JT. They have though, haven't they? They have taken over it's just ridiculous. And they are enforcing their delusions on the rest of us. And that's why we're in the situation we're in now. You know, how many men are in women's sports now because they claim to be a woman? And again, like Professor Stocker has started the show with, J.K. Rowling is against self-ID. I'm against self-ID. You shouldn't be able to self-ID and expect society to go with it. If somebody comes to me on a Monday morning and says, you've got to refer and treat me as a parrot today, fine, get in that cage and stay there. It's just ridiculous. Throw away the key. That's what I'd say. You know, you've got kids going to school, obviously taking the pee out the teachers by saying, I'm the moon. So they have to close the curtains. What's going on? It's utterly insane. I'm a cat. We'll have them neutered. Take them to the vet and have something that'll wake their idea up. David B. Sadly, these days, Tennant is a chime short of a cloister bell. Oh, I see what he did there. That's clever, isn't it? That's a nice one. Matthew Pounder. He's a misogynist, allegedly. Yep. I don't know if I can read that one out, Frankie, but yeah, you're all right. And what else we got here? Problem being, yes. Tennant can back down from this rubbish now. Can't back down from this rubbish now, so poor Rose. Yeah, he's been brainwashed by his wife. Basically had to admit, yes, well, yeah, okay, I can't say that, but that's all alleged. All alleged. And Bill Lowry saying, I'm sure Rowling is losing sleep over Tennant's opinion. She is used to it now. She's had, what, 10 years of this nonsense? Nearly, or in case. It's been a long time. I've forgotten when it all started. And of course, it started with Maya, didn't it? When Maya was Maya Forstater, wonderful woman, when she was forced out of a job as well for having the viewpoint that a man can't be a woman. Basic facts. Again, it's all this DEI nonsense and all this unconscious bias training that all these people go on to, brainwashing people. Don't go on unconscious bias training. If they ever force you to go on unconscious bias training, tell them exactly what they can do, because they can't. It's absolute nonsense. Hello, Jane. Jane Smee. Hello. Kemi Badenoch, the wrong kind of black woman. Exactly. Just like I'm the wrong sort of gay guy. Oh, yes, I know all about that. Jane, I'm going to be saying thank you in headlines at 8 o'clock. Jane sent me a lovely piece there. So thank you for that, Jane. I got it. And I'll mention it again in the next show. The world's gone mad, says Graham. And I identify as a billionaire, says Carwin Morris. All I have to do now is convince the bank. Well, surely under DEI, they have to let you and give you your billions. Surely they have to. I don't know. Well, listen, thank you for staying with me for my ramblings here on this. This was live at 6. I like live at 6 because it gives us a little chance just to preempt what bigger things we're going to be talking about, and it's a bit of a chat between us all. So I hope you all like this. Give us a thumbs up if you do. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the channel. It's free to subscribe. If you have already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are still subscribed to the channel, because I'm still getting emailing from you to say, oh, look, I've been unsubscribed and I had to subscribe again. Strange thing, this, isn't it? It really is. Paul Rose is saying to me, Rowling no longer has to worry about much, and she deserves it. She got there on her own merits. If she's looking for a husband, I'm available. I'm just throwing it out there. JK, if you're watching, Paul Rose is available. I know you've got a husband now, but you can afford a few more, can't you? Oh, no, so you're not allowed that. Well, I suppose you can if you identify as something else. And David B, it says a lot when a metro made by British Leyland is more value than a free newspaper. Oh, I miss those cars. British industry. I miss it all, don't you? Really do. Bill Lowry saying to me, one of the funniest self-IDs I saw was a YouTube clip of a guy refusing to show a cop his driving license as the ID does a dog. The cop wouldn't let him drive. At that sake, didn't give dogs driving licenses. It's utter nonsense. It's utter nonsense. Oh, and Mark is saying to us, I really enjoyed the Merchandise Paradise toy show. Watching you guys with the toys was real joy. Thank you very much. That was our show that we did just the other night there, where we all talked about the new third Doctor character options action figure. It was absolutely ridiculous show. All these grown men talking about bits of plastic. Anyway, it's coming up to 7 o'clock here in the UK now. I'm going to go off and get a cup of tea. I will be back with the Whotastic panel live at 8 o'clock here on this very channel for headlines. Don't go away. We'll see you in an hour. Bye-bye.